Bust Down is a new show on Peacock. It comes out on the tail of a lot of other NBC shows, Bel-Air, The Thing About Pam, Joe vs. Carole. It's kind of refreshing now that we get a comedy as opposed to something based off a podcast, like a mockumentary or documentary that just follows something or a terrible person.
But the strange thing about the show is that as much as it's a comedy, it also does try to address topical issues.
Like Atlanta?
A little bit, but it has a different tone than I think a lot of different TV shows do.
Okay, I'm going to throw out some shows, and you're going to tell me if it matches those tones. Okay, Blind Spotting.
No. Blind Spotting is more like a dark comedy, and this doesn't go as dark as I think maybe it could have.
It also takes place in Oakland. This takes place in Gary, Indiana, which is known for its steel mills, home of the Jacksons, and being a song in the Music Man.
Very
Other than
different.
that, not much.
Yeah.
Okay, so Reservation Dogs.
No,
because of the casino aspect.
The casino aspect, but Reservation Dogs was just the whole entire shocking thing was that it was supposed to be teens were doing these type of acts.
These aren't teenagers?
No, these are just normal, I'd say late 20s people just trying to make it through their 9 to 5.
I think they're all in their 30s in real life. You've got Jack, Sam, Chris, and Langston, 4 best friends?
Yeah.
Okay. So
actually, I think it's Langston. Chris is Langston's cousin. And no one knows what he does there. He literally doesn't have a job.
Yeah, so each one has their own particular job in the casino, the
right.
Diamond Casino. And so Jack does what? Is he the dishwasher, or is he because none of them have the illustrious dealer job.
They're all in the back. It starts off and you get this cool kind of one-shot take of the casino, and then when you go to the back, no one knows what Chris does. That's the joke. Sam is the cook, and I think Jack and Langston just kind of work there as just
so Chris people. Might not actually have a job.
Yeah. In fact, Langston is just no one knows what he does, but he's best at being Chris.
Okay. Party Down.
Party Down?
Yeah, because they all work sort of in a job that they don't really care about. They're all friends, but not...
Out of all the ones that you mentioned, that one probably resonates the most.
And then It's Always Sunny.
In terms of, outlandish things that happens, there is one part in this episode that reminded me of It's Always Sunny.
Well, there's that, and also every character is actually named their actual name. So you have Jack playing Jak Knight, Sam playing Sam J, Chris playing Chris Red. Wait, did I just flip them? No, I mean Jak Knight playing Jack, Sam J playing Sam, Chris Red playing Chris, and Langston Kerman playing Langston. And again, your favorite character is who?
Jack.
Okay.
But I would also compare it somewhat shockingly to The Office, just because of that whole entire, they're all working.
Workspace?
Yeah, the workspace.
Do you see them outside of work?
There's one, that's where one part takes place, at the very end of it.
All right, so we're reviewing the first episode. It's called Bad Hang. Depressed about their dead-end jobs, the crew fantasizes about a life on the casino floor, and the crew helps Jack process inappropriate behavior from their boss.
Yeah, I was enjoying the first 5 minutes because, like I said, you got the cool one-shot take of the casino where everyone's playing around. And then even in the
it's
back...
supposed to pull you into the show. It's welcome to our show.
Yeah, and that's where she's talking about how she wished she could be actually on the floor in the casino working there. And
is Sam the only one, or do they all just envy those people who
they don't want to be where they are right now. They're all just in the back having to cook.
They've all worked there in real life. That's why they...
Oh, really?
At one time or another near Vegas, and apparently it's all really cool on the showroom floor, but when things are slow and you go in the back and it's all just concrete...
I was enjoying the conversation because they were introducing each character, for the first 5 minutes, and I was enjoying just the way that they interacted.
So what happened after that 5 minutes?
That's where Horace, the boss, comes in, and he's talking to Jack, and he's like, look, we're going to be going to this meeting, you need to join me, and then they go into a hallway room, and then he gropes him.
A hallway room or a hallway?
A hallway.
Okay.
But yeah.
How does he... Okay, that's a weird question, but does he just run up on him?
Well, no, what happens is he's like, you're doing a great job, and turns around and just
But not like a slap on the ass.
No, this was
like
worse.
A full
this
growth.
was a full, yeah.
Yeah, so that guy's played by Dan Bacatalo. I hope I pronounced that right. He's from Veep and Made for Love. He's such a jackass in Veep.
Here's no different. I mean, he literally just straight up.
He has an assistant in Veep who he is constantly just insulting and demeaning, and that guy is just bare bones nothing.
Maybe that's why he was so good at playing this character.
He's good at playing a jackass, so that's why they cast him. So what ends up happening to him? Is he reported?
They go to HR. They go to HR, and the HR department starts making fun of Jack. And that was the weird thing about this show. When they were trying to address such a serious topic through comedy, which is fine, but I don't think it was dark enough to really go that route. Like, you know in Shameless when Fiona has that thing happen at the superstore, and then like they have that whole episode where she calls in everyone and they're all like deciding what they're going to do.
Yes.
That made sense because Shameless was such like a fucked up show, and like Skins had all other like storylines like that. But this, it felt like it was almost too late to be addressing it in the way that they were.
I heard that the friends, Langston, Sam, and Chris all had something to say to him. I didn't hear that the HR rep made fun of him.
The HR rep did make fun of him. The one thing that everyone asked, it's in every single scene, and it got tiring after a while, was...
Is this the same joke?
Yeah, they were like, did you punch the boss after he did it? Because the whole entire fact is like, you know, Jack isn't like a kid. He's way older. And they were like, you could have just stood up for yourself. But like, it was continually asked, and he's like, no, I didn't want to really cause a problem.
This reminds me of the Terry Crews thing that was reported a while back, where he was like at a party and one of like a producer or something did something to him and he wasn't going to fight even though he's huge.
Yeah, no, so, my favorite part of the episode probably though was shortly after Jack tells like his friends about the whole entire incident, is that Chris, there's a flashback of him and he's like, you know, was touched by a woman when I was younger and it didn't affect me. And they show a flashback, but it's just him. It's supposed to be 1997 and it's literally just him. All they did was like stick an afro onto him.
Yeah.
And he so
that's like a Scrubs throwback, because I think Turk, they did the same thing where they told him Michael Jordan had like quit or something and he pulled out all his hair.
And he's supposed to be playing like a teen, so he's trying to be a teen while also...
Do they also say it's 1997?
Yeah, you hear the narration is.
I did hear about that.
Yeah, so that was a funny part of the episode.
That's why I was going to compare it to Awkwafina is Nora from Queens, because when they did the flashbacks there, they didn't do anything really to try to make it seem like it was the past besides stick earbuds in someone's thing and have them connected by wire as opposed to AirPods.
Yeah, but his whole entire, like, that's a B storyline, and he soon realizes, because he's, like, bragging about it to other people, like, everyone is then like, oh, sorry that happened, and then he's like, wait, was I actually sexually assaulted? And then he goes on this whole entire rant and tries to, like...
So he has, like, his own perks of being a wallflower moment.
Yeah, he like, starts talking with Langston about how he can address it, and then, again, for a majority of the episode, it's just Jack kind of going to different people, and everyone being like, well, why didn't you punch him? And that's it until
whose advice is the best, and whose advice would you probably take?
None of their advice was actually good. I think that's where some of the comedy came in. Sam was just saying, you know, as a woman and being the only woman there, that like he shouldn't do anything about it. Langston probably gave the best advice because he was the one who was like, we should actually go to HR and report Horace for doing this. And then Chris is he's the crazy one. He never like makes any sense, so you weren't going to listen to him.
Wait, what did he say though? Besides the fact that he had that post-traumatic stress disorder. Or whatever.
He was like, you weren't really molested because, he was going like that route with it. But at the very end of the episode, this is where I think my biggest problem with the show is that, so Horace is there, everyone is outside, they're all talking, and Chris comes in with this crazy video about, like, it's about a sexual assault. He, like, pulls out his laptop, he starts playing it, and really it was all a distraction for Jack to come out with a dildo and try to shove it up Horace's ass.
Wow, so that's how they ended up dealing with it.
Which was somewhat comedic because they did do a straight-up reference to Game of Thrones where Arya kills the White Walker, where like he tries to hit Horace with a dildo. Horace puts up his hand to stop it, and then he drops the dildo into his other hand and shoves it up his ass. That was somewhat funny, but it was also just such a strange payoff once he got through it, because it was
What did the boss do?
The boss was just kind of like, oh, well, it was more what everyone else did, because they were like, yeah, he's touched me as well, and the boss runs off.
It does feel like It's Always Sunny.
Yeah.
That ending feels a lot, like next episode won't even pay attention to it.
But the thing about It's Always Sunny is that stuff like that always happens. This, it felt somewhat out of place.
Well, maybe because it's a pilot.
I mean, yeah, but it just felt strange because it didn't feel like the rest of the pilot was that way. The thing that happens at the end of the episode is HR, the guy who runs the HR department, decides that he's going to step in as the boss, and then all the male like attendees are going to be escorted to their cars, and then Sam is like, why aren't the females? And then the HR department doesn't really have an answer, and that's about the end of the episode. So it's like here and there was funny parts to it. I think it was better than I thought it was going to be, and it's way better when comparing it to something like Bel-Air or like Harlem, and I choose those two particularly because of the fact that it's trying to have the diverse cast, but also it just felt strange in some scenes the way they decided to go about it.
If you put away the like glasses that say let's pay attention to the little finicky parts and just say this is a pilot, it could improve over time, and by season 2, season 3, if they were to really flesh out the funniest parts, would it make for a really good TV
Yeah,
show?
yeah, I think so.
Okay.
It definitely has potential.
Did you recognize the cast besides Chris Redd?
Oh, I recognize Chris Redd.
Langston Kerman is Eagle the Archer from The Boys. Yeah. He's in the Church of the Collective. He's the one who recruits the fish guy with drinks or sodas.
Right, yeah.
And then you have Sam J. She used to work on SNL. She's done everything from Donald Glover productions to Michael Che specials. And then Jak Knight, he is from Big Mouth. He plays Devon. And I didn't realize this until I was looking into it. So he's dating Devin. If you remember, there was Devon.
Doesn't he marry Devin in one episode?
Yes, you're remembering correctly. But the on-running joke about him is that in the show, they think he's like a really old man. And like there are so many little small Easter eggs about it, and like how he.
Oh right, yeah, no, I remember.
He has arthritis and such, and no one's okay. Whatever. This was also directed by Richie Keene. He's directed It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, so same genre. Also Be Positive, so less like that. Though,
yeah,
right?
Yeah, way less like that. Nothing.
That's
like
the traditional
that,
comedy route.
Yeah.
He's also working on a show, and I'm wondering, it's based on a movie. It's either Now You See Me, 17 Again, or Pitch Perfect. One of those is being turned into a show.
All three of those seem in it.
And he's working on it.
17 Again?
No, Pitch Perfect. So get ready for Anna Kendrick to...
Wait, Pitch Perfect is being made into a TV show?
Yes.
But I mean, I thought that there was like talks about them making a fourth movie.
They might be.
So, okay, yeah. That's
okay. But I mean, it makes sense because of how many song shows are coming out.
I mean, yeah.
Or have come out over the last 10 years. So in the end, what would you give it, though?
Overall, I'd give it like a solid 7.
Solid 7?
I think that's why, yeah.
The Hollywood Reporter says it pokes fun at heavy things, but it's first and foremost a lighthearted comedy. Agree or disagree?
Yeah, no, I agree with that. And I wouldn't be surprised if every other episode tries to deal with some type of serious topic. It's definitely a show that tries to make you feel uncomfortable.
Well, it didn't have like a message by the end of it, did it?
Yeah, that was probably my biggest problem.
Like there are no
it.
Profound insights.
Right.
But isn't that like a little bit refreshing? Here, this is a quote from Sam J. She said, "With this show, there's an opportunity for black folks to be silly again and not have to carry the weight of the world on their shoulders or not have to solve racism in one episode or season. We can be goofy. That's why we built the show the way we did. We wanted the characters to be irresponsible and say the wrong thing because that's real life." And looking at some of the shows that we've done, like you mentioned before, Harlem and what was the other one you said? Bel-Air?
Yeah.
Other ones like Dear White People, Atlanta, Insecure, Lovecraft Country, or County, Blackish, Blind Spotting, I May Destroy You, Them. Many are super critically acclaimed shows, but all of them have part of their identity established and grounded in this point about the hypocrisy in which society always sees racial inequality.
I can understand that that's true, but when you make a show, you do like come up with, you're supposed to have some type of message at the end of this.
No, but I'm saying that you don't necessarily need to. If it's going to follow the same route as It's Always Sunny, then it can be funny and entertaining and relatable, even if they're just terrible people, you know? You don't have to be a role model to be. If we're at that point in making these type of shows, then that's a good thing. That means we're taking a step forward, right?
It did remind me a little bit also of Keenan because Chris Redd is in there.
Yes,
and
Keenan is like the best friend, isn't he?
Yeah. So yeah, overall,
and you're making a good point too because this is Chris Redd's show from SNL's. Lorne Michaels is working on it. He's also worked on so many other shows.
So Chris Redd created it.
Yeah, along with the rest of the four. They all four created it. That's why they kept their names and had these honest conversations about how they're going to make their characters. It's just exaggerated versions of themselves.
Yeah, I would hope so.
Keenan has Keenan. Kate has Carole vs. Joe. 80 has Human Resources coming out next week, actually.
Oh, okay.
Michael Che has his own show. Who do you think the next SNL person is that's going to get their next TV show? I already know the answer.
You know the answer?
So I'm going to give you 3 people here.
Okay.
We either have Pete Davidson, Colin Jost, or Melissa Villaseñor.
Okay, all of those are interesting. I don't think Pete Davidson's going to have his own show because he does a lot of movies now. Colin Jost.
That's a fair assessment.
It might be Colin Jost for like some type of talk show maybe. Because Seth Meyers did the same thing.
That would mean he's probably leaving SNL. You think that's what's going to happen?
Yeah. No, you know what, Melissa, I don't know how to say her last name.
Villaseñor.
Villaseñor, yeah.
No, it's actually Pete Davidson. He's coming out with a show, kid you not, called Bupkiss. And it's going to be a show like Curb Your Enthusiasm. but with Pete Davidson.
Oh my god, that actually sounds great.
You're gonna watch that one?
I want to see that.
We'll do that one. Okay. So you said that you'd give it a 7. That's pretty good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. It has a 7 on IMDb right now. Here's the complaint though. No one's talking about this show, and I'm worried about it because of that. I knew that if you had any positive response towards it, it was going to be sad because there's only 100 reviews on IMDb, which is fine if this was on a small network or if it was just coming about. But the show is technically NBC, and they dumped all the episodes. And for instance, they did the same thing with Joe vs. Carole, and that has a 5.9, but it's pulling in a huge audience. It got a ton of publicity. I could barely find any reviews on this show.
Yeah, and
so it makes me think maybe it's just going to drop under the radar and not get picked up again.
It might very well do that because I know that with like Bel-Air, they're at least releasing it weekly.
Oh yeah, and it had all that like previous stuff.
Yeah.
And so like as a society, it makes us question like, oh, we don't like it when they just rehash the same material. Then why are we watching it? Then why do we like get so pumped up and like almost angry watch it, you know?
Yeah. No,
versus something like this where it's at least original. Also, what's your favorite casino game? Because that's where this takes place, right? Do you see it?
Yeah. I mean, we see people like play craps at first. I like the slot machine because I think I've had the most success with that. Whenever I've
But not
to
roulette?
Roulette, no.
Roulette's probably my favorite. Yeah, I have the best luck with it, at least. Anything else that you wanted to say about the episode?
No, I mean, it was just kind of like, it was a fine. Oh, do you know who Brandon T. Jackson is?
No.
Yeah,
not just based off the name, but I'm terrible with names.
Yeah, the thing is that like that happens midway through the episode. I think they talk about the Masked Singer, and then the HR department says that he thinks it's someone, and then Langston says, I think that it's actually Brandon T. Jackson, and then the head of the HR department was like, I don't know who that is, but he's the person who plays Grover in the Percy Jackson films. He's been on like a ton of films, also like Lottery Ticket, and he's like been in a ton of TV shows.
He sounds familiar.
I was surprised when
Grover's not the one-eyed guy, right?
Grover is the goat.
So he's not the second. Yeah, he was one of the friends.
Right. So I was surprised when they decided to go with that because I was like, I know who Brandon T. Jackson is. He's relatively famous. So. Yeah.
Well, again, I'm terrible with names, but good on you for catching it. That'll be where we end this one. Thanks for listening. Hope you enjoyed the episode. Bye.
Bye.